Hey there, I'm back with another video, and this time I share how I made these beautiful cards which can be used for different occasions, especially for Valentine's Day. Let's get started! Before I start, just a quick note. I share in detail how I made the card with the dog, and at the end I share other cards I made in a similar way and talk you through what I changed. To begin with, I start with die cutting out my die cut, which is with hearts and in slimline size. Therefore, I prep my sandwich for my die cutting machine and then run it through. After I have finished die cutting, I carefully remove all the pieces from the die cutting process. In my case, I got a frame piece and a lot of hearts which I keep as well. I need the hearts later because I want to turn this card into a shaker card. And by the way, I use thick cardstock for die cutting because that gives my card stability in the end. As you can see here, I repeated the process with a rosé or pink shade cardstock as well. But at the end I used these pieces for another card. The reason I cut them as well is because I wasn't sure about the color of the hearts I want to use as shaker pieces. For my first card, I wanted to have a darker frame piece on top and a lighter background shade. Therefore, I'm trimming another piece of paper down to size so that it fits my frame piece as well. This process I also repeat on a piece of acetate. In my case, I used overhead sheets, which work as well. Now I can start assembling all the main pieces of my card. At first I use some liquid all-purpose glue on the back of the frame piece, because this is where I'm going to adhere my overhead sheet in the second step. That way I can turn the heart cutouts into little windows. Next I can start creating embellishments, and therefore I search for some stamps I like to use. My first card will be more of a birthday card, but at the end I also show you an example for a Valentine's card. For stamping I use a white thick cardstock which I put into my stamping tool. Then I place my stamps onto the cardstock, close the flap, open it and ink my stamps. When I close the flap again, I can stamp my motif and I can repeat this process as often as I need. This way I can get a very nice stamp print. Now I can start coloring. Before I search for some colors I want to use along with my stamped images. For the dog, I decided to use some brown shades which I swatched beforehand. For the inside of the dog, I decided on a lighter brown shade and I opted for a darker shade on top. Other details I colored with blue, And I also searched for a lighter pink shade which matches with my background. I will use this to color in the gap between the cutting line and the outline of the dog. In my case, I used water-based markers to color my embellishments. But you can also use alcohol-based markers if you use paper which is suited for them. By the way, I'm really sorry here because my camera didn't focus on the colors of the caps. I'm not sure about some numbers, and I also tried my best to describe the names. But as always, try to use what you have, and if you wanna recreate this, try to use colors which are similar to mine. Next, I started to add foam tape to the back of the front part. I tried my best to place it where it can't be seen through the windows. To create a nice height, I placed multiple layers of foam tape, then I added in my die-cut hearts, and then I removed the backing of the foam tape. This way I can easily take my backside, align it with my front part, and put it on top of it. Now I wanted to add some more embellishments, so I searched for another stamp set. And then I repeated the whole process again until I had every embellishment finished. By the way, I stamped more than I needed. That way I have a little variety where I can choose from. Any additional stamped motifs I can use for other cards. Before I started coloring, I searched for some colors I wanted to use. But to be honest, I later changed my mind and used other colors. But I thought I'd leave this color scheme in because these colors work well too. So this way you have more inspiration. So here are the colors I used in the end. I decided to use primary colors or colors which are near to them. This way the card looks very colorful. Instead of writing happy birthday, I find it funny to change the words to happy with. To make the letters more outstanding, I decided to frame them with another color. When I was done with that, again I cut everything out. Next I could figure out a good arrangement which I liked, and decided to color the background like I did with the dog. Finally, I used even more foam tape to place my embellishments. That gives the card more dimension and makes it more interesting. And now I'm done! This card took me about 1 hour to make. This card can be made very versatile depending on the colors you use and the embellishments you place. As I said before, this is more of a birthday card, but you can also change the letters and turn it into a Valentine's card. I also made another card, but this time I choose blue colors. I even used some of the die-cut hearts. The speech bubble I left blank to add whatever I like. And for the last card, I just added some butterflies and hearts. To color them, I used 2 different shades of pink. I will be using this card for Valentine's Day. And here again, these are the 3 cards I made. If you enjoyed this video, I would be happy if you like, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye!